Our presentation today is Angiotensin-Converting Enzyme 2, or shortly ACE2, our cellular receptor for SARS CoV-2 virus, presented by Lubab Haiti as part of the health literacy programs at Amel for health promotion and education, a non-profit organization concentrating on health literacy programs. This presentation is going to present some scientific information regarding the infectious process, how the virus is infecting our body, and how the way that SARS-CoV-2 is infecting our body is actually determining the general features of this pandemic. And I think it is important for all of us to have some more scientific knowledge about this virus for two main reasons. First, because it is, as we are all seeing, that this pandemic is different from anything that we have seen before. SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 has become part of our life. It is impacting everything in our life, and it seems that it will last longer than we all expected. So we need to understand more this virus, and we need to have some more scientific information about it. And the second thing, because I'm a strong believer in health literacy and how health literacy can have a significant impact on health outcomes for any health issue. So it is important to improve our health literacy regarding COVID-19, especially with this flow of disinformation that we are having these days. So in order to protect ourselves, to protect our communities from this disinformation that we are seeing around us, so we need to improve our health literacy. I think, and many also thinks, that the false information are actually spreading more than the virus itself. So in order to protect ourselves, we need to improve our health literacy so that we can have a solid base on which we can build our behaviors towards this pandemic. Talking about SARS-CoV-2 properties. SARS-CoV-2 is an enveloped single-stranded RNA virus, and this is a virology classification because there are different types of viruses. There are enveloped, unenveloped, single-stranded RNA, double-stranded RNA, DNA viruses, RNA viruses. So these different classifications in the virology science, it determines the characteristic of each virus and determine the pathogenicity of the virus. SARS-CoV-2 is a coronavirus, as we all know, belongs to the family called Coronaviridae family. There are 4 general types of coronavirus: alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. Alpha and beta usually the type of viruses that infect humans and other mammals. Alpha and beta viruses have seen infecting humans for a long time and different kind of diseases. Delta and gamma usually seen in birds. The SARS-CoV-2 virus, and by knowing the genome data of the virus from the beginning, showed that the virus is a beta coronavirus, like the virus that caused the epidemic of 2003, the SARS-CoV virus. So SARS-CoV and SARS-CoV-2 are both beta coronaviruses. How SARS-CoV-2 enters the host cell. So any virus, in order to infect the body of the host, needs 2 things. Need an entry point in the body of the host, which is called the host receptor, and needs a part of the virus that can bind with that receptor, which is called the receptor binding domain, shortly RBD. In case of SARS-CoV-2, it has been found that the cellular receptor is the Angiotensin-Converting Enzyme 2, which is an enzyme that is present on the cellular membrane of some types of cells in our body. while the RBD, or the part of the virus that bind with the receptor, is the S protein or the spike protein of the virus, as you can see in this picture. Interestingly, it was found in some studies that the genome of the spike protein is not present in any other beta coronavirus, none. And this could explain the special characteristics of COVID-19 compared with other coronaviruses related diseases. And this slide also we are talking again about the infection process. So as you can see here, the human cell and the ACE2 is or the cellular receptor is on the cell membrane of the human cell. So when the virus infects the cell, SARS-CoV-2, when it infects the cell, the spike protein of the virus will bind with the receptor, which is ACE2. And when this binding occurs, the virus will release its RNA into the cell in order to have virus replication and then virus multiplication. So the virus we will have more viruses that will infect more cells in the body, and this is how the infection process will go on. So now we know that the cellular receptor, or the part of our body from which the virus can enter our body, is the Angiotensin-Converting Enzyme 2, or ACE2. To understand more what is ACE2, see here just a brief definition. So the picture on the right is just showing the general structure of ACE2 as it is a protein enzyme that is attached to the cell membrane of cells in different organs of our body. The ACE2 is found in the cells of the lung, heart, arteries, kidney, and intestine. ACE2 is actually a crucial component of a system called renin-angiotensin system that is responsible for regulating the blood pressure in our body and also regulating the fluid electrolyte balance. So this is the cellular receptor that is used by the virus to enter our body. So now we understand that ACE2 is and the renin-angiotensin system, or RAS system in general, are in the heart of COVID-19. And many symptoms and some of the features of the disease, now the researchers are finding that are more related to the fact that ACE2 is the receptor for the virus. One example that we are going to mention here is the fact that ACE2 is not only present in the cells of the lung, in the epithelial cells of the lung, but it is also present in other parts of the body, other organs, as we mentioned before. It is present in the gastrointestinal system, in the small intestine. It is present in kidney tissue. It is present in heart and in arteries. The fact that ACE2 is also present in these cells could explain the co-current symptoms that some patients are showing, especially critical patients. So here we are going to go fast to see some parts of the body that are showing symptoms with COVID-19. Of course, the most common is the respiratory system, especially the lungs. We have cases range from mild, moderate to severe and critical. The more the lung is infected, more part of the lung is infected or involved by the infection, the more severe are the symptoms, the more fluid the lungs will be filled with, and the harder will be the lung to make its function and to have oxygen in our body, leading to hypoxia, difficulty of breathing, and so the patients end up on ventilators. It has been found that the reduction in ACE2 receptors in the lung will cause more fluid to accumulate in the lung. So because the virus is using these receptors as their entry point, so that's mean that we are having less ACE2 receptors, and which means more chances of pulmonary edema. This is for the lungs. Another organ in the body that is showing symptoms with COVID-19 is the kidney. We have been hearing cases of kidney failure that even led to death in some cases, and it is believed now more. It is the researchers are believing more that this kidney failure is actually happening because of direct invasion of the virus to the kidney because of the presence of ACE2 receptors in kidney cells. That is leading to these severe symptoms in kidney or in the renal system. Also, we have heard a lot of patients that are showing gastrointestinal symptoms, especially diarrhea, and also now it is believed that the presence of ACE2 in the epithelial cells of the small intestine especially is maybe the reason of these symptoms, which also explained by the direct invasion of the virus to these cells, leading to these gastrointestinal symptoms. And this also explained the presence of the virus in stool samples and in animal swabs of the patients that are showing these symptoms. So as we can see here, that because ACE2 is the receptor of the virus, we are having other organs in the body showing symptoms other than the respiratory system. Another issue that is raising with COVID-19 is the use of some medicines that are used to treat hypertension, diabetes, congestive heart failure, kidney diseases, which are the angiotensin receptor blockers and inhibitors. These medicines work on the renin-angiotensin system, of which ACE2 is one important component, and these medicines have two effects on ACE2. Some researchers have found that these medicines increase ACE2 receptor, this one impact, and also they found that these medicines increase the therapeutic effect of ACE2 on in cases of severe lung injury or what is called acute respiratory distress syndrome. So here maybe we can understand more clearly and shortly. So these are the medicines, IRB and ACEI, angiotensin blockers and inhibitors that are used to treat hypertension, diabetes, and some others. They have two impacts on the ACE2. The first impact is it has been found by some studies that these medicines, when they are used, they increase ACE2. Increasing ACE2 for the COVID-19 pandemic means increasing the entry sites for the virus. But on the other hand, these medicines have shown that they enhance the therapeutic effect of ACE2. ACE2 has a therapeutic effect in cases of severe lung injury, and the use of these medicines enhance this therapeutic effect, and which is very positive effect in case also of COVID-19. So that means that these medicines have what is believed to be a positive effect and maybe a negative effect in COVID-19 pandemic. Because of this controversy and because there is still not a certain belief that these medicines are harmful now, and because it is in fact they believe that the benefits are more than the harm effect of these medicines. So on March 19, 2020, Heart Failure Society of America American College of Cardiology, and the American Heart Association all declared a joint statement suggesting that the discontinuation of these medicines is not recommended at this time, believing that the benefit is more than the harm from these medicines. ACE2 genetic polymorphism, which means a genetic variant, is another feature of ACE2 that could have an impact on the properties or the characteristics of COVID-19. ACE2 polymorphism, it has been found that it is strong and it is related to sex, ethnicity, regional localization, and environment, which means that different ethnic groups could have different ACE2 genetics properties than another ethnic groups, and also the geographic areas. Some areas are having different ACE2 genetic properties than other people in other geographic area. It is believed, in some studies, believe that this polymorphism could be partly responsible for the diversity in the prevalence of COVID-19 among different countries. So as we can see here, for example, the data released by the European Center for Disease Control on April 28, 2020, showing the differences in the cases reported and death reported from different continents. This chart can be showed the significant differences among the different continents clearly for COVID-19 reported cases. So we see like Africa, the Oceania, which is Australia, New Zealand, we have so far very low number of reported cases and death compared with America, Europe, and Asia. Even Asia, which is where the virus originated or appeared, it is still, we have cases generally less than 500,000, while now the cases in both America and including here North and South America and Europe exceeded the million. So these differences could be partly, again, we should concentrate on that it is could be partly related to ACE2 polymorphism. Another feature of COVID-19 or another observation with COVID-19 that can be related to ACE2 as a receptor is the relationship between the severity of COVID-19 cases and the nitrogen dioxide air pollution. It has been found that most areas that were affected by COVID-19, like North Italy and Madrid, they have actually a high level of nitrogen dioxide in their environments, as we can see in this picture below. And it is believed that from other studies that the nitrogen dioxide pollution has an increasing impact on ACE2 expression. That means that whenever there is more air pollution with NO2, that could lead to increase the expression of ACE2 in our cells, which could explain why these areas are having more cases of COVID-19. In addition, of course, to another reason is that, which is the chronic inflammatory effect caused by nitrogen dioxide on the lungs and on the respiratory system in general. So again, this is another observation with COVID-19 that could be related to ACE2. The final conclusion of this presentation is that the fact that ACE2 is the receptor for SARS CoV-2 virus can explain some of the anonymous findings associated with COVID-19 pandemic. I hope I was able by this presentation to make some scientific information more understandable for you, and I hope that by such kind of presentations, we can improve the health literacy of our community in order to be stronger in facing this pandemic. Thank you for listening. And here at the last two slides, you can see all the articles, the scientific articles that were used as resources for this presentation. Thank you again.